Thank you for joining us to this 1 hour webinar to understand this digital reboot program. This program was co-developed by NTUC LearningHub, all right, and Ngee Polytechnic with the support from UOB FinLab, and also together with our sister organization that is the USME. This program is designed to help companies who would like to embark on their digitization journey but are unsure of where to start. All right. What are the technologies? When we talk about digitalizations, there are many kind of technologies that's out there, right? So which are some of the technology that company should start off with, all right? The other concern are things like, for example, what are the initial cost of investment, right? If let's say the costs are very cost prohibitive, then it may not be something that the company will want to look at this point in time. All right. And thirdly, the expertise that we'll need. Many a times, we have projects that we want to implement in the company, but the projects don't really take off. The reason is because they do not have the manpower, they do not have the knowledge, they don't have the expertise to roll out and to set up all this deployment. So as before, I continue. The agenda for the day is that we will have we have a series of speakers that is lined up for today. All right, we are going to have we're going to talk about the 5 technological tracks which are the workflow automations, all right, the process automations, data process and visualization, digital marketing, and the online communications. And the whole program, the whole webinar will end at around 4 o'clock, where I will then end off with a summary. So as a start, as I mentioned just now, many a times there are so many technologies that is out in the industry, out in the market. Which are the technologies that we should be looking at? NTUC LearningHub and Ngee Poly has together look at all these technologies and has highlighted and handpicked or cherry picked our 5 technology that we think that it is something that the companies can easily implement in the in their own companies and can immediately reap the benefit of all this technology. So the first one that we are going to look at is this that is called the workflow automation that is called that is using this called the Power Automate. Many a times, these are some of the challenges that the company face. I'm not too sure. These are some of the challenges that you yourself now in your company are also facing. All right, be it as an individual staff or be it as a boss looking at the whole organization and looking at the allocations of manpower to the different jobs and responsibility within the company itself. So some of the things that is being highlighted in these particular slides are things like, for example, monitoring of deadlines and sending of reminders. Are you now spending people, all right, or getting manpower to just monitor deadlines? Because deadlines are important in some cases, and you have to get them to constantly to send reminders. Do you have people who have to get approval for payment and invoices, meaning to say people who go around getting signatures? Do you have people who you deploy to collect and input data? Now, a lot of times we talk about having to make what we call data or what we call informed decision making. And for informed information decision making, we need to have data. So where do we get data? So we have to collect them. So how do we collect? Sometimes we go to the website. Sometimes we go to some public website. Or public data source where we download all this information. All this takes time. Or as business start to move online, as you try to understand your customers, your business, the result, how successful is your digital marketing result online, be it that you're using Facebook or Twitter. All right, how are you going to get all this information? Are you still going to get people to go and collect all these informations? All these all these challenges that you see over here basically will require you to have someone to constantly monitor and involve working with multiple software and applications. Now, of course, okay, for big companies, okay, we can do some investment and get some software developer, okay, to create what we call the API for us. But for creating of the API is a huge investment. What we are suggesting over here is we can make use of this called the Microsoft Power Automate. Microsoft Power Automate, okay, is an app, okay, available in Microsoft 365. There are close to about 250 connectors, okay, that connect and work with some of the popular enterprise system in the market. And most importantly, they are very easy to deploy. Right, they're very easy to deploy. As you can see, okay, from the screen over here, is what we call GUI. All right, you can see, okay, basically, okay, what do you need to do? Okay, you just need to click and drag and then to just tell the system, okay, step by step, okay, this is what you do, this is what you do, okay, this is what you do. So as in the activities, okay, that you see, like recurrence, okay, list rows, present in table, okay, these are all the activities. And most importantly is that all this, okay, software, okay, that you are going to see later on, okay, including this Power Automate, these are very easily to be deployed. You don't need to have someone, okay, that is versed, okay, in any programming language. Reason also partially because these programs are built for the business end user. So they are workflow templates that is already inbuilt, all right, where you can just click and drag and you just need to fill in the blanks, all right, and you will immediately, okay, be able to read, okay, and see the result of all these things. And you can see, okay, from some of the from the category of the templates, okay, there are 9 templates, okay, to help your sales team. There are 12 templates, okay, that keep you informed when on the go. 12 templates that improve your productivity. So these are some of the categories. These are some of the templates collections, okay, that is currently already available, okay, inside the Power Automates, okay, which can allows you, okay, to use immediately. So what are the benefits, okay, in terms of the corporate, in terms of the software, okay, in terms of software for those of you, okay, who are already, okay, a user of Microsoft 365 environment, you will already have this this feature that is called the Microsoft Power Automate. There are already 250 connectors, okay, that is available over there. So this allows you, okay, these connectors allows you to integrate, okay, different systems together. Because sometimes, okay, for you to even generate a very simple report, you need to have different computer, different system coming together, working together or integrate together seamlessly just to create that one single report. Not only that, okay, although, okay, I say that it is easy, okay, to be used, you just need to have a business end user, okay, to deploy, okay, some of these projects. In the event, okay, if you want to work on the enterprise level projects, that means big projects, okay, that things that you want to deploy and automate, okay, that's across, okay, the whole enterprise or the whole organization, the software still support. And as an individual, the software itself, okay, is easy to use. Okay, it's easy to use. You do not need to have a diploma, okay, in IT. All right, you don't have to have any programming language experience. There are templates. There are templates, okay, where you can use. Right, is GUI. So these are some of the things, okay, that you can. These are some of the things that you can deploy. So basically, okay, Microsoft or Power Automate, okay, it works. It helps you, okay, in your work productivity. All right, it helps your individual staff, okay, to be to be more effective and more efficient, okay, in the way that they do their works. So moving on, okay, will be the next track, okay, that we are talking about, okay, which is on the introduction, okay, to UI path.
Thank you, Egli, for sharing what some of the challenges that business face today and how they can automate it. So next we have Samuel Ko, Regional Partner and Manager at UiPath Singapore, who will be sharing more on RPA, Robotic Process Automation, to help keep businesses up with the digital transformation. So Samuel, take it away.
Very good afternoon, everyone. So what I hope to do this afternoon is to essentially give you the high-level understanding of what RPA is, what it can do for you, and to talk a bit about the UiPath platform for hyperautomation, and to also discuss a little bit about how you can get started, and then we will summarize with a list of benefits that you can get from applying automation to your business processes. I guess as business stakeholders, many business stakeholders today will be asking this question, am I keeping up with digital transformation, or is my organization keeping up with digital transformation? And evidently, in many organizations today, they continue to face pressure from many of these sources, right? The need to drive continuous growth, the need to ensure the customer expectations are still met, and at the same time keeping costs down. So there's evidently many challenges that businesses have to deal with today, more so even in these days of COVID-19 pandemic. But yet our core priorities remain the same, right? As organizations, we are all here to drive, create revenue, and of course, your mandate will be to increase revenue, lower costs, as well as improving customer satisfaction, increasing employee engagement, which is very essential in today's age, as well as reducing compliance risk. Right. So this typically most of our priorities will fall into one of each of these categories. So a quick study that's been done by The Economist has identified that automation is actually the catalyst that helps to kickstart digital transformation in 93% of organizations today. So and RPA is well poised to help organizations do that. So what exactly is automation? What can it do for you? So robotic process automation is the technology that we're talking about today. In short, we call it RPA. So what RPA can do is it helps to emulate a person by executing manual repetitive tasks. It allows a software agent to be able to perform the task on behalf of the person. You can have a set of rules defined to make sure that the robot process those tasks according to those set of business rules. And of course, at the same time, it is able to also help you, seamlessly integrate data process that cuts across many different line of business systems in a very non-invasive way. Non-invasive, I mean, there's no need to change anything in the underlying systems. So this is one of the very big advantage of why many customers around the world are using RPA today. So when we talk about software robots, what exactly can the robots do for you? So imagine for a moment that you as an end user, every day when you go into office, when you log into your system, you have to maybe sign into a website, to your CRM, and to maybe download some data, and then you need to compare some data across different files and copy and paste and assemble a report. So the software robot can be trained to do exactly that series of steps, and does it in a much faster fashion, as well as making it 100% accurate. So what you see on the screen here essentially is just an example of the various activities that the software robot can help you do, right? And a very common use case will be to extract data from documents, PDF, and even image files. And once those data has been extracted, it becomes useful, and the robot can then help you to push those data into the relevant systems as required. Okay. Very common other use case is also to scrape data from the web, where you can train the robot to go into the web and gather information as opposed to you having to do it yourself, right? Very commonly employed in the HR kind of use cases, where you can send out robots to go and draw information from LinkedIn profiles and things like that. Okay. So moving along, so UiPath as an organization has been around since 2015. And then we have since built up a customer base of more than 7,000 customers around the world. Evidently, there's a lot of use cases that's been that's been defined for RPA. What you see on the screen here is essentially a series of or different categories of use cases that are very common. We see finance is a very common sweet spot. So most organizations today will have some form of finance process that can be fairly heavy in terms of working with spreadsheets, with specialized finance systems that the automation can help you drive a lot of these efficiencies. Okay. Right. So changing gears a bit, moving into the UiPath platform itself. So UiPath today has been privileged to be considered as a market leader by Gartner. It's a very well-known independent analyst. So Gartner has defined a term called hyperautomation, where it's not just about having software robots to automate the processes. They have identified many other facets that surrounds the core RPA capabilities, such as providing tooling for the for organizations to be able to derive scientific data around their processes, around the activities that the users do, and perform some analysis and evaluate these processes for maximum ROI and impact. So it helps you identify which process within your organization will give you the best returns. Okay, so Build is where our tooling is a no-code, low-code environment where you can essentially define the workflow, and then we have some virtual workforce manager to help you manage all your robots, and robots evidently will be the ones to help you execute the process. And we also have added some capabilities to allow human and robots to collaborate very easily. Right? Imagine for a moment that at certain logical point, a robot cannot take a decision point. It can just drop a task and get a human involved, and human will be notified to come in, look at the task, provide his input, finish the task, and the robot can continue from where he has stopped. And finally, we are looking at insights, which is essentially a data visualization capability that gives you the ability to create dashboards to give you very good insights into the performance of your process automation. The next few screens, I'll take you through some screenshots just to give you a flavor of how our tooling looks like. So what you're looking at here is essentially a UI where we have an agent installed into a particular user's machine to watch what the user does on a daily basis. What the robot can do, what the agent can do is to record all the activities that the user has performed, such as opening a web browser, signing into the ERP system, entering some transaction code, and then downloading a file. So every single activity can be recorded, and eventually you can even document it output it into a process definition document and make it into an executable automation as well, right? So that's the beauty of this particular capability component. Next, we're going to look at UiPath Studio. So this falls under our Build capability. Studio is the design environment. It's a drag and drop environment. It's shipped with a whole bunch of very intuitive capabilities, allows you to train your robot all the screen interactions that you need to do as a user, right? So once you have defined the automation, the robot can execute it for you. So this is our de facto design environment. You can see that is quite intuitive. A lot of things are performed in a drag and drop fashion. And we have even taken one step further by changing the UI to make it a little bit more user-friendly as well, which is targeted at the end user. We have this notion of robot for every employee, which is essentially empowering non-technical end users to have the capability and the tools to create their own automation. What you see on screen here is it is a UI that is very simple. Again, it's all drag and drop, and it's supported by a lot of wizards to help guide you through the steps very easily. Okay. So after you have essentially built the automation, you deploy it. What you are looking at right now essentially is a sample automation of what a robot does. It's basically logged into a HRIS system, downloading the resumes of candidates that has submitted their resumes, and then it does some keyword search and comparison based on a set of rules. And if it is unable to find any match, it will just reject that candidate and stuff like that. So just to give you a sense of what a robot can actually help you achieve in terms of helping you automate the process. So robots comes in a couple of flavors as well. One is the first one is they operate on your desktop. So as I mentioned earlier on, it can help you automate the tasks on that you yourself as user performs daily or weekly or monthly. Then we also have another kind of robot that runs in the back office. It essentially helps you to automate those straight-through processing kind of automations without human interventions. So these are the robots that can run 24/7 with a lot of tasks scheduled into its work queue, and give you the maximum efficiencies. Right. Evidently, you can combine both both these two type robots to address your organization's needs. So Orchestrator is our server component that gives you the ability to manage your robots, which is your virtual workforce, right? It's almost like a food supervisor to manage a team of employees. So it allows you to stop the robot, track what it has done, check its performance, and be able to do audit logging and stuff like that. Next, we have Engage. So this is a very unique capability to the UiPath platform. I believe we're quite unique in the marketplace today that we we are the only product today that has the ability for robots and humans to collaborate very seamlessly. So as I mentioned earlier on, it allows the robot to drop a task into a work list where a human can then come in, look at the task, look at the data, take a decision, finish the task, and the robot can continue from where it has stopped. We have also added capability for you to create user interfaces like this form here, right? You can build up some various business forms very easily without code. And finally, we're looking at measure, which is the ability to gain insights into the processes that has been automated. So it gives you graphical data visualization of the performance of the robots, and you can then be able to identify what are the areas of improvement, and of course, be able to provide management reports on the returns on investment made in terms of automation. So here's the question: where do you start? Right. So with most conversations that we have with customers today, evidently the big question is what processes should you identify and automate, right? So different organizations obviously will have different different priorities or different different use cases that they will see has pertinent to their business needs. So what you see on screen here is essentially some 8 key characteristics. First of which is the process got to be highly manual and repetitive, dealing with high volume documents perhaps, or even transaction records, right? And it has to be rules based. You can define some rules. If this is true, then go this way. Otherwise, go the other way. That kind of rules. And it got to be very prescriptive. That means very low exception rate. And of course, you should be able to deal with digital information. Things like PDF, image, these are all considered digital information. They can all be automated, right? And more importantly, is the process got to give you some good impact and good savings, right? Obviously, you don't want to select a process that is hardly used, or you run it only once a month, which it doesn't take a lot of time. So those will obviously give you lesser impact, right? So just to give you a high level understanding of this criteria and how you select your processes. And when we always advise customers in the very beginning of their RPA journey is to focus on these 3 areas. Essentially, is to get the tooling for you to define the automation, and then you have the robots to execute the automation. The orchestrator is actually optional depending on the type of robots that you require. So you may or may not require it from the get-go, right? And the good news is that the UiPath licensing is very flexible. You can actually start small. The barrier entry is quite low. You basically just need to invest in a studio and a robot, and you can get multiple automations going, right? And as your organization's needs grow in maturity and sophistication, you can of course scale out the automation to more and more sophisticated processes. Right. Okay, so let's talk a bit about the benefits. So as you can imagine, if the work that you do, those mundane, repetitive, boring work you do on a daily basis can be automated by a robot, you don't have to do them anymore. Evidently, you can be freed up to do higher value things. You can start to look into innovations, provide more value to the organization instead of doing boring, mundane work. And if efficiencies will be improved as well. And with automation, you can see that the steps are prescribed. So there's really no way for the robot to sidestep any critical steps that's required in the process. So compliance are ensured, and of course security will also be there. We have very well tested software. So our software are actually tested and certified by a third party, a professional security organization, quite well known in the marketplace. It's called Veracode. So we can provide reports to customers who are interested to understand what are the vulnerabilities that UiPath platform has today and things like that. And of course, with the advent of more and more artificial intelligence capabilities today, UiPath itself also has a very well-defined AI framework where customers can bring their own AI technologies to essentially make the robots more intelligent when performing the automation. So with customer satisfaction, we're looking at having the robots giving you very, very short turnaround time, making sure that the data that you present to customers is always accurate and on time, right? So that helps with that. Okay, so I come to the end of my presentation. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Samuel. Okay, next we have Putra Sadli, co-founder and chief executive officer of DataViz, an all-in-one data visualization platform. So Putra, take it away.
Hi everyone. Yeah, just give me a minute. Okay. Yeah. So, thank you, Rosa, for the introduction. So, I'm here to talk a little bit more about the data processing of other data analytics and visualization track. And this is powered by the DataViz Cloud. It's a subscription platform that is. So I think at the very core of the discussion thread thus far with workflow automation and robotic process automation is a lot about how we can benefit from things working in the background. This follows in some manner in a similar vein, right? And it's really because as a technology startup, myself and yourself likewise, we are going to be a particularly small, mobile, and agile team, and for better or for worse, we'll really be juggling many different things at any one time, right? And as a technology startup, being that mobile is really about being able to evolve fast, being able to react to any change, whether is it in the business environment, the regulatory environment, or even the technology landscape. Where it also come to a point where you might be able to pivot, or change your direction in terms of where you want to target in the market. And all of this is really about being able to be agile enough. So any kind of rigid infrastructure where there is an investment into a massive amount or significant amount of sunk costs is really going to be a hindrance and effectively a bottleneck, right? And in the context of data, a lot of technology startups, a lot of SMEs as well would be actually in this day and age is going to be progressive enough to be using many different tools. Whether you're talking about CRM, ERP, any kind of email, and even in the context of using RPA and workflow automation, the issue thereafter is there's going to be a lot of data that you would have to manage, and a lot of it is going to be in silos. Different teams within your company will be handling different sets of data. It may be disconnected, and effectively, this lack of visibility, can effectively be oversights, right? So, yeah. So what the DataViz Cloud really help with is what we call the analytics process automation, right? And this is really about getting the right information at your fingertips. It's really about taking all that data, it can be a chaos or mess of data, choosing what data you want to use, how you want to transform that data, and how you want to present that data into an entire process itself, right? And we use the context of what we call data pipelines. So this means that it's a much more effective way of managing the flow of data within your organization or company, instead of having to do centralized data warehousing or centralized data lake, or having a data engineering team or a data modeling team. So you actually have this virtualized into a data pipeline, right? And effectively, it's designed to be scalable such that it grows when you are, say, if you are a smaller outfit, and it grows. It's designed to be scalable. If you have more data sources, if you have additional requirements, additional business logic and business objectives, additional teams within the company, is all designed to be scalable in that sense, right? So as what Samuel has very nicely put, automation is really the precursor and catalyst for a lot of people in terms of the digital transformation journey that they were embarked on, right? And that's really about getting all that data in place. So in the context of digital reboot, it's actually a very fantastic proposition to go together with, say, if you were to go together with RPA as well as workflow automation together with data analytics visualization. So you have the capability at the onset to be able to collect the data, but what do you want to do after that? And really, it's about getting all that data streamlined into a particular transformation process that you would typically spend a lot of time on Excel, and you would just take up a lot of analyst time if you have an analyst, and put that into a streamlined data pipeline process, right? And this is really about handling data at scale and at speed. This database cloud is designed specifically for stream processing. And the outcome is for you to be able to make the better decisions. You have your data at your fingertips. And this is really to identify gaps and opportunities that you would otherwise not see if you just treat your data in silos, right? So the database cloud effectively is a low-code analytics platform or environment that directly transforms your data from source to insight, right? So how does it look like? It's really about, okay, so there are a couple of elements in the slide that's not appearing, but I'll just talk you through it. So you would really be using a web browser to access the cloud platforms, the subscription basis. So effectively, you don't need to download anything, right? You would use a web browser, any modern web browser such as Chrome, right? And effectively, it's as easy as 4 particular steps to get you on that journey. You select and decide what data you want to ingest, number 1. Number 2, you define how you want to transform that data. And this is everything about how you want to map and join between data sets, how you want to clean them, the data preparation of it, how you want to extract and transform them, put any kind of model or logic to it, and ultimately basically determine how you want to transform from source until how you want to render it, right? The third would be to visualize it. So you would have the capability to decide if you want to put it on some sort of a chart or put it on terms on a map, and ultimately how you want to lay it on a dashboard or include data storing elements such as text, image galleries, and so forth, right? So as a quick example, this is a short flow of what it does, right? And ultimately, the last step would be to share and either share internally within an organization. You would be able to collaborate together with other functions within the organization. So if you are in sales, you want to be able to get something or be able to ingest data from, say, inventory or marketing, you'll be able to do that. And you'll also be able to share externally with the public or community at large, right? So, specifically for the digital Reboot program and the database cloud, it is really about empowering each and every individual in your company to be a citizen data scientist. And that's really about giving them the foundations to understand how data can help them. They have an eye and a better framework in terms of looking at their own business environment. Say if you're in marketing, looking at what your needs are, and how do you translate that into a data analytics workflow that you can use and define yourself without depending on external expertise like a data analyst or something else, right? And ultimately, how do you want to visualize, present, and communicate that data and insight? So all of these elements will be covered within a track and is designed to be executable on this database cloud platform. Right? So the platform itself means that you'll be able to ingest from different sources. You at the onset, you have access to any flat files, CSV. You'll be able to connect to live files via OneDrive and Google Sheets. The extensions should be for API and as well as any kind of SQL databases. Those are extensions, right? So in the where you would be able to process the context of cleaning, mapping, filtering, and so forth, and ultimately putting them into graphs and charts, into a dashboard, paginated, or in data storytelling format, and ultimately how you want to share and collaborate between your organization using the database cloud. Yeah. So to wrap it up, essentially, everything was designed to be simplified to the point that it's easy for a non-technical business end user, right? It's going to be highly visual, click and drag interactions, all the different steps you take are all semantically logical. So it's really meant for anyone in an organization to be able to capture their ideas, their problems and objectives, and then translate that into a data analytics workflow. This ultimately is to save time in the same vein as your other automation processes. It's really about giving you a strong ROI where you do not have to do repetitive tasks again and again. And ultimately, it's really about one platform to get all the different functions of the analytics workflow in the hands of your company. So with that, thank you so much. I'll hand it over to Patrice, I believe. And yes, I hope this gives you a good idea about processing of data visualization.
Thank you, Putra. All right, next we have Patrice Chung, Director of the Sandbox at Ngee Polytechnic, to share with us more on the digital reboot for SMEs. Patrice, please.
Yeah, thank you, Azra, for the introduction. So, hi, everybody. So my segment will be focusing a little bit more on digital marketing under the umbrella of the program SME Digital Reboot. We know that during the past few months, there has been a shift. And the slide is not moving. So let me just request remote control again. Okay, that should be. So a shift has happened. And the shift is essentially that the way customers shop is changing, right? As you can see from the slide, there has been like a 240% increase in online shopping. So customers are accessing and discovering services online. They're also buying more online. And that means a lot for the traditional SMEs. When they shop online, as an organization, when there's a shift in the customer behavior, organizations ask themselves, how can we reach our customers digitally? Because that's the main channel people are shopping and accessing services. And the second one is how can we do so effectively? So not only accessing the services digitally, but also be able to reach out to these customers effectively. So to reach your customers digitally, we'll need to set up an online presence, generate email leads, content marketing, digital branding strategy. And this is really positions to the SMEs who currently may not have a very good online presence, a good digital branding strategy online. And we have created this particular course for them. After they have set up the online strategy, the online presence, they will also need to be able to measure how they are reaching out their customers. So how to measure traffic to a website, track user behaviors online, leverage search engine optimization, how to set up a proper marketing funnel all online. And this course will cover these aspects. So these are some tools that we will cover. These are tentative list of tools and not the complete list of tools. But we will cover all these tools during the courses. So mostly digital marketing. So the itinerary is very simple for the program that we are offering. So let me just, it's a bit laggy. Let me just click everything. So there's going to be a 1 hour of online self-learning before coming to the course. It's covering 5 domains of digitalizations. And then there will be a 2.5 days of in-classroom training, followed by a 2 month of playbook implementation. So we'll give each organization a playbook of 10 use cases on digital marketing on how to do a step-by-step implementation for each of the use case. And let me share a little bit of the use case. So the first use case, we will start from the beginning. So if you are an SME and you do not have an online presence, we will help you set up an online presence. So that's to be the first use case. It goes all the way from buying the domain name, what's the best practices to buy a domain name, registering, set up your landing page, through some perhaps WordPress or Wix kind of tools. So that's the first use case. The second use case, once you set up your online presence, how do you monitor and track user behavior, increase traffic to your website? As use case number 3. And use case number 4 will be increasing your presence in search engine optimization. So the first few use cases you can see is very much targeted towards building an online presence, bringing traffic to your online presence, measuring that traffic that you bring to your online presence. We will also, use case number 5, we'll talk a little bit for some SMEs who are more into the e-commerce side of things. We will share how to maybe create a store within an e-commerce platform. Use case 6, 7, and 8 covers different aspects on how we can leverage content marketing and social media to engage customers and increase your branding presence online. So we'll cover different paid marketing strategies that we can use to generate leads and build up your brands online. So that's for the second set of use cases. And finally, let me just go back. Use case 9, we'll talk a little bit about email marketing, and use case 10, we'll be talking a little bit on how to set up a proper marketing funnel. So again, the context here, it will be targeting mostly towards SMEs who do have a need for digital marketing because perhaps they don't even have a digital presence, or some of them may have a digital presence, but they are not leveraging their digital presence effectively. And we will teach them how to do so through this course and the tools and the licenses that comes with the tools as well. So as an individual, for those who come, to the course, they will develop digital marketing. They will learn how to develop digital marketing campaigns, analyze and report on the performance of a campaign, use an array of tools to operationalize the campaigns, and be fluent in social media advertising and digital branding. We think that it will be beneficial to the SMEs who are particularly perhaps lagging behind in the digital sales channels, because traditionally perhaps they were focusing more on a face-to-face channel, physical channels through the malls or physical footfall. So as a wrap up, the digital marketing will have hands-on training during the course itself, consultation sessions or workplace learning consultation sessions post the course, and the playbook of 10 use cases will be included, and the necessary software licenses will be included as well. And that's it for me. Are you ready for the digital takeout? Thank you.
Thank you, Patrice. Okay, to wrap up the webinar, I will invite back Lee to share with us more on the program by NTUC LearningHub.
Okay, so thank you for all the speakers for introducing the product tracks. Okay, they are all together 5 tracks as you can see on the slides. These are the tracks that we NTUC LearningHub and together with Ngee and Poly we have identified as one of the some of the areas that most companies can embark on and quickly reap the benefits of some of this. So how do we so what is this programs? Is it just about just another training that the company is going to send their staff to? As I mentioned earlier on in the introductions, the whole purpose of this particular program was created to help companies who are currently maybe thinking of digitizing their what we call work processes, or they do not know where to start. This whole program are basically created to help them to address some of the concern. Where to start is the 5 tracks that we have choose for you. All right, and we think that you can quickly reap the benefit of all this from these 5 tracks. The other one is what we call the initial cost of investment. So how does this program help you with the initial cost of investment? So a lot of time, because these are all technologies, meaning to say is there will be software that you have to buy, All right, there will be licenses that you have to acquire. Now, licenses, again, depending on the programs or depending on the technology that you're going into, can sometimes be very can be cost prohibitive, meaning to say, oh, I have not been able to see any result, and I have to now spend a huge sum of money, all right, to get the license. And at the end of the day, I may not be able to see any return of investment. So what we have done over here, in this particular program is that, we have incorporated the cost of the license into the program. All right, so that will help with the help of SSG and also USME. All right, so that will help you to reduce the cost of the initial cost of investment in terms of purchasing of license. So what you will get is that you will have 1 year license for some of this software, which immediately you can start to go back to your company, and then you can start to deploy some of these projects that you have been thinking about. The other area, is the area of expertise. A lot of time, we say that, send your people, send your staff, for course. At the end of the day, after the course, they can come back and they can deploy, the projects, that you have been thinking about. Many a times, we hear from people is that, yes, we send staff, for learning, to upgrade their skills. But at many a times, they come back, they are not able to fully deploy the whole projects. Chances is that they will have some difficulty when they start on the journey of implementing or setting up the digitization. When they have questions, where do they go to? Because after finishing a 2.5 day course or 3 day course, will not make that person an expert. They will need some time for them to fully immerse themselves into the newly acquired knowledge. So what we have over here is that we have what we call the consultation. This is a 2 months, this is a 2 months or 24 hours man hours consultations help that's given to companies to help them in some of these implementations of their company's projects. With the help of Poly, they are going to deploy what we call their diploma graduates together with their mentors to go down to the companies and help them to address some of the concerns, issues, problems that they may face in some of this project rollout. Some help are given. And at the same time, there are also concerns and questions like, for example, for some companies, I may not know, what are some of the things that I can do, inside the companies. So for each of the 5 tracks, that we have identified, which you have heard, from all our speakers just now, we have identified, for each of the tracks, we have identified 10 case studies or 10 use cases, something, that we recommend that companies can implement inside their companies. So today, if let's say you're not sure what to implement, so these are some of the things that you can consider. So we have this thing over here that's called what we call the playbook. So what will you get in summary? So you will have the playbook, which is the 10 case studies, which I mentioned just now. You will have a 2.5 to a 3 days hands-on training, depending on the track that they have chosen. You will be given the software license so that you can start to implement something inside your company or in your company. And we will have consultants that is from Ngee Poly, our junior what we call graduates, diploma graduates, that will be deployed to your companies to help you to deploy and set up some of these projects that you have been thinking of. So what do you commit? Firstly, of course, we would like to have the companies coming in with some kind of a project in mind, something that you have already talked about and something that, hey, this is something that I want to implement. All right. We would like each of the companies to be able to commit for about 5 staff for the training. All right, because over here, we hope that we are talking about deployment. We're talking about setting up of the projects inside your companies. So sometimes depending on the size of the projects, it may need more people. It may need more help. All right. So so in this case, if let's say companies can have more people send in, okay, it will help them, okay, in the deployment of projects, especially if let's say it's a cross-functional department projects, because you will need to have input, okay, from different people from different departments. The cost fee, okay, the cost fee, the estimates, okay, after funding, of course, there are some prerequisite also. Is for 5 packs, okay, is estimated, okay, to be around, okay, 1,500. Different tracks, okay, different tracks will cost a bit differently, all right, but an approximate value, okay, is about, for 5 people, okay, it's about 1,500. Terms and conditions applied lah. All right, because in this case, it depends also greatly. Okay, is your company SME or non-SME? The staff that you send, is it above 40? All right, or 40 and above, or below 40? All right, so there will be terms and conditions that is applied. Okay, so that's all, okay, for our presentations. So we will open the ground, okay, to the floor. All right, so if you have any like questions, okay, you may. Okay, so there is this questions over here, okay. Is Microsoft 365 Power Automate sufficient and can perform the same function as RPA? Do I need both? If not, okay, how to judge, okay, which is better software? All right, basically, okay, both Power Automate, okay, and UiPath are both looking into automating, okay, your work processes. All right. So for Power Automate, okay, for Power Automate, if you are already current Office 365 user, then Power Automate, again, may be something that, okay, you can consider. Reason is because, okay, you do already have that particular features, okay, that is within your company. Power Automate, okay, it work with connectors. Okay, Power Automate, it work with connectors, meaning to say, okay, in order for you to have a system that communicate, okay, between each other, they normally communicate, okay, through what we call the connectors. In your company, okay, if, for example, all right, you are using a very proprietary system, and there is no available connectors, okay, that is available inside the Power Automate, okay, that you can use. Then, of course, okay, the next options, okay, that you can look into is the UiPath, right, which may be something, okay, that you can consider. Yeah. So, yes, although Power Automate, okay, can help you, okay, to integrate, okay, some of the enterprise system. But again, okay, we have to also consider, okay, what do you have currently, okay, in your company? Yeah. So maybe Samir, you want to add on?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Thanks, Egli. So yeah, I agree with Ailey, your description. So UiPath is evidently a mature RPA vendor that has has many customers implementing RPA across diverse use cases and industries. So our UI automation actually is I would say is fairly mature, robust, and we can automate a broad range of complex use cases spanning different applications and different ways of interacting with the applications, not just live applications on your desktop, but also in remote desktops, in Citrix, MetaFrames, things like that, right? So I guess from a product maturity perspective, I would say UiPath is definitely more mature than what Microsoft offering is today. And I agree with Eggli's description is that Microsoft is very focused on automating the Microsoft ecosystem of applications as a personal productivity tool, and very highly dependent on the connectors that they make available today.
Okay, if there are no other questions, maybe we can close off the event. If any of the attendees have any other questions, you can do so in the feedback form that will pop up on your screen right after the end of the webinar. Yeah, I would like, on behalf of Level 3, I would like to thank Skillsfuture Singapore and NTUC LearningHub for organizing this as well. And thank you to Samuel, Putra, and Patrice, and a special thanks to Ailey as well. So The recording of this webinar will be available in the next few days. And if you'd like to know more about the programs or level 3, feel free to drop us an email at hello@l3.work. All right, that is all. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice evening ahead.
Thank you.